Hello, family. Welcome once again to another episode here on Sporty Frank. We are here to dissect the game between the Black Stars of Ghana and Wales, which happened yesterday in the United Kingdom. It was Ghana's final preparatory game ahead of the 2026 World Cup, which is going on or which is going to happen in Mexico, Canada, and the United States. There are news that it could be possible that Ghana plays another friendly match before we face Panama. But all of that in details in this very episode here. If you haven't subscribed, do so and share to your friends and loved ones so that you can stick and stay anytime we drop new videos like this. Now, the Black Stars played against Wales yesterday, and it was an exciting game to watch. The game ended 1-1, as you might have already been informed or have watched it yourself. And these are the things that we picked out from the game. If you watch the game clearly, you saw that Carlos Queiroz' team set up very defensively against Wales in the first half, which was very, very underwhelming from how they played. There were a string of poor performances among the players, but in the second half, a few changes sparked some hope into the team, and they went on to get the first goal through Ernest Nuamah, through Caleb Jurinchi, who's smashed home the effort of Ernest Nuamah, whose first attempt was actually parried away by the goalkeeper, but onto the path of Caleb Jurinchi. But unfortunately, the dying embers of the game was when Ghana conceded, and again, it changed the whole story from all the praises that were showered on the players to, pinpointing or singling some of these players out, and then again criticizing them for their poor efforts looking on for that goal to be considered in that very critical moment of the game. You know, this has been a thing for this Ghana team. They concede really late in games, and it has been a worry even under Otuado. It happened again yesterday, but the positive thing is that this is the very first time since Ghana beat Comoros in the final World Cup qualifier. This is the very first time Ghana has gone ahead in a game, scored the very first goal in a game. And unfortunately, Ghana couldn't win again. So, again, in 6 matches, Ghana are still winless, and that's something to worry about. But again, there were a lot of positives. We are going to talk about them. Number one, Marvin Sanaya was a live wire from the right flank. He played his first game for the Black Stars. Remember, this player received a call-up under Otuado during the previous friendly games against Austria and Germany, but he wasn't featured in any of these games. When asked about the right-back options for Ghana, Otuado stated clearly that there were no options, and so he was forced to play Caleb Jurinchi on the right-hand side of defense for the Black Stars. And clearly, it didn't work, but Marvin Sanaya getting the nod under new coach Carlos Queiroz showed that he was indeed a good player and could be relied on. He played so well, and long may it continue. We've seen a lot of Black Stars players making very flashy debuts, but didn't maintain consistency, and the prayer is that it wouldn't happen with Marvin Sanaya. But on the other hand, the player who used to play as right back, who is the reason why Otuado was criticized a number of times for playing him out of position, that is Caleb Jurinchi. He has played so well in midfield for FC Nordsjælland, but yesterday, maybe for the first time, he got the nod to play in midfield, and he was excellent as well. He got the goal for Ghana from a rebound when Ernest Nuamah drove all the way into the penalty area of the Welsh side and then smashed the ball, but couldn't score because of the effort of the goalkeeper. But Caleb Jurinchi was there in time to smash it home to give Ghana the lead in the second half. And that is some positive there, especially in times where Ghana has lacked a lot of solid defenders through injury, through form, and all of that. Caleb Jurinchi owned up yesterday and did an excellent job in midfield. One worry that Ghana needs to be talking about is the fitness of Thomas Partey. The energy of Thomas Partey was not there. It wasn't clear yesterday. You know, he's a player that if you look at the setup, you would say that Ghana have, if we are to look at experience, it is Thomas Partey, who would be relied on for most of the times. But yesterday, he wasn't just it. And it was clear that his lack of minutes at Villarreal was so obvious in the game. But, I mean, there are a lot of options. And if Kalibi Renchi could step up this way, long may it continue. And hopefully, it worked so well for the Black Stars of Ghana. Yesterday, if there was a player who needed to play above himself, who needed to do everything possible to win the trust of Ghanaians, then that player is Jonas Adjetey. Remember, in those two friendly games against Austria and Germany, this player, considered 2 penalties and he received massive backlash. He was really criticized. A lot of people said he had no business coming close to the national team again, especially for what he had shown in those games. Very poor performances. But yesterday, if you ask a lot of people who watched the full throttle of the game, they would tell you that Jonas Adjetey was the man of the match yesterday. He did so well with 9 clearances, blocks, a lot of tackles, and he was very great in the air balls, winning aerial duels, and he received a lot of praise for that. With in a situation, or in this current situation where Ghana finds itself worrying about center backs, these are the performances that Ghanaians will need from these players, especially going into the World Cup. Remember, Alexander Djiku was dropped because he was injured. Already, Mohamed Salisu has been ruled out, and Jonas Adjetey and Jerome Opoku were the options. Jerome Opoku himself was not bad at all yesterday, but Jonas Adjetey stole the headlines, and that is very, very, very positive. Now, let's talk about Kamaldeen Sulemana. Yesterday, he started in number 10 role. I have personally not seen him play that before, but we know he has the ball carrying abilities as an attacker and driving forward and all of that. Again, it was the same old Kamaldeen Sulemana. He didn't really impress. From my point of view, he was still poor as an attacker. Jordan Ayew was also poor as well, with a lot of people calling for him to start from the bench instead of starting in crucial games, because he barely offered anything in attack. That was another observation from that very game. Now, let's talk about Ernest Nuamah. Nuamah has played about 32 to 34 minutes the whole season because he's returning from an anterior cruciate ligament injury, an ACL injury. And with ACL injuries, for recoveries, it's very difficult to fix in players like this in crucial matches because they need to be match fit. They need a lot of minutes. They need to show that they are fully back. But Ernest Nuamah had played just 32 minutes for Lyon. And so calling him or including him in this Black Star squad was another problem, was another thing that people talked about. People were not excited with. But yesterday, he looked so great. He was a live wire for the Black Stars. He did so. Anytime he had the ball, it reminded a lot of Ghanaians about Mohamed Kudus, who is missing in the squad. Ernest Nuamah was daring to take on players, was daring to start attack, to trigger or to instigate attacks, and it was so great. It paid off because it was through him that Ghana got a first goal from Kalibi Renchi through that rebound. So Ernest Nuamah has, excited a lot of fans yesterday, and that is really, really positive. Looking at the fact that Fatai Issahaku was not really great in the first half, it shows you that Ghana has a lot of options when it comes to wingers in that game. Semenyo didn't take part in this game, probably because he returned too late during the campaign, because remember he had just won the FA Cup and then the Carabao Cup with Manchester City, so maybe needed some rest. He came into the team, trained a bit, but was not fixed in that game. So in the next game that maybe Ghana would play, I am hearing that on June 10, Ghana will be playing Jamaica in the United States before they play their first game against Panama. So that will be another game, if confirmed, to test some of these players even more. But again, the villain of the game yesterday was Baba Abdurrahman. Again, he came on. Gideon Mensah had played from the first minute to 85th minute, and Baba Rahman came on, and then guess what? He was dribbled past across was delivered in and the equalizer came. Just 5 minutes on the pitch, he couldn't bring in that energy to at least stop the team from equalizing. And yes, the internet is already ablaze already. People are criticizing him. A lot of people are also defending him that the defenders, the center backs didn't do a good job to deal with the cross, but everybody is rather focusing on that one dribble that went past Baba Rahman. Once again, if there's a player who doesn't want that to happen to, I think it's Baba Rahman, and unfortunately it happened to. It wasn't as if Gideon Mensah was so excellent. He started poorly too. Daniel James did light work of Gideon Mensah in the first half, but in the second half he came back composed and did so well to stop some attacks and all of that. But when Baba Rahman came on, just 5 minutes, came on and was even giving the captain's armband, because at the time Jordan Ayew was off the pitch, Thomas Partey was also not on the pitch, and then Gideon Mensah, who was taken over as captain, was also substituted. So Baba Rahman took the captain's armband, and again he is on the lips of a lot of Ghanaians for the bad reasons. Now, we cannot go without talking about Lawrence Atizigi, my word. An excellent shot stopper. That has never been taken away from him. He is good at that all the time. But yesterday, he showed why he is a contender for that #1 spot. He showed why the #1 spot is not just Benjamin Asare is not untouchable for that #1 spot, because the saves he made were out of this world. I am not even exaggerating. You can get the highlight and watch it for yourself. He made some excellent saves, especially in the first half, but he was replaced with Benjamin Asare in the second half. Unfortunately, we considered in the dying embers of the game, but Atizigi was so excellent. Again, one attribute of Atizigi that hasn't been talked about much is how good he is with his feet. His passes are so excellent, and he did so well with that. For me, from a Ghanaian perspective, I think you should be happy, because it is now debatable who mans the post for the Black Stars, and it's a positive thing. If that is going to give the coach headache, then it's a positive thing that we have two great goalkeepers competing for that #1 spot, and that was just a fantastic game. We are looking forward to see the Black Stars play maybe another friendly before they face Panama. Remember, Panama were hammered 6-2 by Brazil in their friendly match a few days ago, and also Croatia also lost their friendly match, and so it's looking positive for Ghana going into the World Cup. Now, Carlos Queiroz himself was happy with the performance of the players. He said that he was happy because the players followed his instructions. From the words of the gaffer himself, he said the players followed his instruction, and that's a positive thing. If within a few weeks you take over a team and the players are able to adapt to how you want them to play, then I think it's a good thing, and we can only expect the team to go higher ahead of the World Cup. So these are a few things that we observed in the game against Wales. If there are more things that you think hasn't been said here, you can drop the comments. I know a lot of people are furious about Baba Rahman's performance. It was just 5 minutes though. A lot of people are not happy with Jordan Ayew. A lot of people are worried with Thomas Partey and his fitness. But people may be excited with Kalibi and Chisenaya, and then NS Nyama, among other few players as well. So this has been me, Frank Appiah, here doing this with you. This is Sporty Frank. Try and subscribe, turn on notification bell. As we delve deep into the World Cup season, we'll be giving you more updates. Bye for now.